Welcome to Mathenatic, and on this channel we try to make maths simple and easy to understand. And in this video tutorial, we will rewrite a trinomial in the form of ax minus b squared plus q. And the method that we will use is called completing the square. So let me show you quickly what we are going to do. We have an expression in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c. And what we are going to do is take out a as a common factor, and that will lead us to x squared plus b over a x plus c over a, and then close that bracket. And in order for us to complete the square, we would add the square of half of the coefficient of x and subtract it again to create a trinomial that's a perfect square. So that sounds very technical, but let's work through this example. So we have 2x squared minus 3x minus 8. And we identify a is equal to 2. So let us take out a common factor of 2. That will lead to 2 times x squared minus 3 over 2x minus 4. So remember, when I take out a common factor, I'm basically dividing each term by that factor. And that leads to this expression. Now we want to complete the square by looking at the coefficient of x. And we are going to add and subtract half of the coefficient of x squared. So what that looks like is we have 2 times x squared minus 3 over 2x. So now we're going to look at the coefficient of x, which is 3 over 2, and we are going to add half of the coefficient of x squared. So half of 3 over 2 is 3 over 4, and then we are going to square that value. So we'll have 3 over 4 squared. So I'm adding 3 over 4 squared, but I'm also subtracting 3 over 4 squared. So in effect, I'm not making any difference to the actual expression, because these two terms will cancel one another out. But what I've created in our first three terms is a perfect square, meaning a trinomial that we are able to factorize and create two sets of brackets, and both sets of brackets would look exactly the same. So we'll have that set of brackets squared. So I have 2 times, and look carefully now, we are going to factorize these three terms, but I'm going to show you a slight shortcut. We are going to have a bracket squared because these three terms are a perfect square. Then, in order to find the first term, I ignore the square of x, and the first term would simply be x. Then, when I factorize, I can take the negative of the second term, so that is negative, and then I simply take 3 over 4, not with the square, as my last term. So that is 3 over 4. And when I close the brackets, I remember to square it. So if you multiply out this expression, it will lead to x squared minus 3 over 2x plus 3 over 4 squared. So that factorization again, I ignore the square of x and place the first term inside the bracket. I take the second term's sign but ignore the second term completely. And then I take the 3 over 4 without the square. And that is the trinomial factorized. Next, I can multiply out negative 3 over 4 squared, which is equal to negative 9 over 16 minus 4. So remember, our plan is to rewrite this expression to look like a times x minus p squared plus q. And if you want to look how far we have come, we have a already outside, and we have a bracket x minus 3 over 4 squared, which is x minus p squared. Now we simply need to find the q value. So in order to do that, I'll add these two terms together, and that is equals to 2 times x minus 3 over 4 squared minus 73 over 16. And then lastly, I'll remove the bracket by multiplying the 2 into my set of brackets. And that leads to 2 times x minus 3 over 4 squared minus 73 over 8. So now we have our a value as 2, our p value as 3 over 4, and our q value as negative 73 over 8. So we have rewritten this trinomial in the format of a times x minus b squared plus q, where a is equals to 2, p is 3 over 4, and q is negative 73 over 8.